I know we're running out of time, so I'm going to skip these. With the future of science, I feel kind of fell out of the sky in February. You know, when the Russian meteor hit, I was like, yes! Oh no, people are dying and getting injured. Probably shouldn't be celebrating, but I knew that I had a lesson for my class, right? And so we looked at the meteor, we looked at the other asteroid that was so close to hitting Earth, DA-14, I think it was, that came in with thinner satellites between Earth and the outer satellites. We looked at some role models like Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Nye. We read a great New York Times article which taught me that, did you know an asteroid hits the Earth every day? We just don't know because it's so small or burns up in the atmosphere before it gets here. So that was really cool. I was like, whoa. And then, true to form, I found this 270-page article from NASA, and they have an entire report on if an asteroid is going to hit us, will we be able to deflect it? You know, this is awesome. All right. So let me just hypothesize a quick future of what I think STEM can do. All right. So here's the situation. The Bataillonists target Earth by aligning an asteroid. They use a gravity tractor. They align that asteroid so it's going to hit Earth. Because they don't want to make political waves. They want to make it seem like it's an accident. So we realized this. In 10 years, we realized this asteroid's going to hit Earth. All right? So what do you need to figure out? And well, NASA has this great thing here. They give you a timeline. And so what are we going to need to figure out? We're going to need some chemistry. We didn't know what the asteroid is made of. We're going to need to use flame spectroscopy, mass spectroscopy. We're going to get someone on there. We're going to dig up, find samples, analyze what that is. That's awesome, right? That's great. What are we going to do next? We've got to justify a method to deflect it. Are we going to use nuclear missiles? Are we going to just shoot something up to hit it? Are we going to use a gravity tractor? Do we have lasers? Like, how do we deflect this thing? Okay? And that's all in that article there. That great article. It's really detailed, actually. And then, what I wish I could do is teach the physics too. Let's look at collisions. If I send something with this mass against a huge mass, will that deflect it enough? It might only change the speed by 0.00001 meters per second. And kids will be like, no, it can't possibly. But then remember that it's traveling such a long distance, billions and billions of miles. So maybe that would be. Okay. And then finally, of course, I'm going to need a computer scientist. Of course, this is a dream world. Okay, this is a dream world. They're going to create a program where we can simulate this, where the students can plug in their things they've calculated and actually see, do they successfully deflect the asteroid, or do they not? And that's where I think the future of STEM needs to go, and can go if we teach science not as a list of different subjects, chemistry, biology, physics, but as science for 4 years. And instead of thinking about, okay, what content do we need students to know, let's think about what problems we want students to be able to solve. Let's think about what are the important problems we want them to solve, and then teach whatever we need so that they can do them. Okay? So that's kind of my thinking as to where I hope STEM will be in 10 years. Okay, and that's kind of amazing. So I'm going to skip the next one, the positive, that's similar. Let's look at some of the mixed or negative ones. So this is a great one. This says, I get a bit frustrated though, because I get so into the theme that I'll always be asking, Mr. King, did that happen in real life or did you just make that up? And I tell you, I don't really know. But I like this comment because it shows me that student is thinking constantly about, is this real or is this fake? And that's such an important scientific skill in terms of scientific literacy. Is this fact? Is this opinion? Okay? So I love that comment. It makes me feel like an elementary school student. Yeah, I guess a little bit, but you know, in some respects, I think we can learn a lot about elementary school, so I don't know. And then a great comment that they wrote is that it started out strong and then it kind of fading off because I planned a lot during the summer and then throughout the year I just couldn't quite maintain the sense of scale and the sense of people. But I got that in place and hopefully next year it's going to come back bigger, better, and so forth. So that's kind of the sense that I'm getting back from the feedback. So just some personal reflections. I do need to maintain the story better throughout the year. I personally agree with that. That's kind of a response I expected. I think that's really cool. And there's a serious trade-off. So I will tell you, I probably I'm going to get through 20 to 30% less chemistry content this year than I did in previous years. Okay, so if standardized testing is a serious thing for you, that's something you need to consider. But for me personally in New Jersey, where I'm not getting tested yet, I think what they're gaining besides chemistry is so much more worth it. When you're getting students saying that they feel like a member of the galaxy, like, that's really powerful.
I don't think you'd get that 20 or 30% anyway if you added it on.
Right, maybe there would be. Yeah, maybe. So, I mean, there's a lot of options here, I guess. So I really feel strongly about this. Obviously I do, that's why I'm presenting here. But that's for you to think about, you know. That's for you to think about, is it worth it for me to cut that out so I can get through 4 days? And then the one thing I want to do is I want to promote student-based decisions. So what I really like is I would like to present with students with two missions. Like, you can either save Commander Sherwood or you can save Commander Ackerman. Make a choice. Commander Ackerman is in charge of the engineering team. Commander Sherwood is in charge of the transportation and communications team. And have it bite them down the line if they save the wrong one. Or have them bite them down the line in certain scenarios, but help them out in other scenarios because they make that choice. And make them really feel like there's someone important in the universe. Because when they get home, okay, it's not often true that they feel like there's someone important. Again, going back to this, when they think about what is their life about, that Camden takes up so much of their life. And I just want them to feel, at least in the classroom, that there's someone big, that there's someone super important.
I had a couple questions. One was, what have you found about the students? This is pretty cumulative.
Sure.
He starts to multiply
Into it, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other question is, just getting buy-in of the English teacher and would that take?
So the first one's a little bit harder to answer because students are generally on top of each other because of the point system. Like, it's how you design your lesson, right? So how I design my lessons is that if I assign 12 problems, the group has to split them up where each person takes 3. And they're all different problems. So people can help other teams, other members of the group to do the problem, but they can't do it for them. So that's kind of how I try to minimize it. But of course, there's always that student who might be a little bit behind. So it's tough to get those students engaged. That's just something, I don't really have an answer for that. I guess it's just something I try to work with on a daily basis. Getting buy-in, I think teachers get excited about this. And I'll just, I know a few teachers who would be into this stuff, and I started with them. And then word gets out quickly. At schools, word gets out quickly. And then pretty soon, like, the other guy's like, yo, King, let me get me on your next video. Like, I really want to be a part of this. And so it starts kind of just building up, little by little. Yeah. I know that's how it worked for me. I don't know if that can be in every situation. But I know 2 or 3 teachers who would do it, and I'm lucky to have a supervisor who supported me.
That's what
Obviously, yeah.
I really like your idea, your concept of immersive environment. I just want to throw a couple of ideas I had. Like
Sure, that'd be great.
A CSI lab, working on a team on a race car, or an expedition with different things. You can do maybe a book with chapters, an album track, TV show with episodes, reality
Sure.
show.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
Constructive.
It doesn't have to be space, right? It
Yeah,
can be,
no, but I think that's awesome, and I think that's the way a lot of science teachers need to go.
Yeah, thank you. So one last thing I just want to end with is that if I'm looking at the brain of the student, right, I don't think like stoichiometry is going to fill up a bubble in their brain. I don't think like solutions is going to fill up a bubble in the brain, and definitely not out Call of Duty. It's not going to do that. But what does stand a chance for students is think about the Horsehead Nebula and how our solar system used to just be a cloud of gas, and then suddenly condensed and we got solar systems. That's exciting. That's what we need to show our students. What's exciting is curiosity on Mars and what that little rover is doing. It's the rover that keeps going and going, and also Opportunity, which is still on Mars and just never dies. Like that thing was supposed to die 3 years ago. How far is Kepler 22b? Will we ever travel to Kepler 22b in our lifetime? These are questions I think that stand a chance in getting into students' minds. These are questions and science that students will take home and think about and grapple with. But if we keep continuing to do like stoichiometry, solutions, not that those things aren't important, but there's no context. That's not table conversation. That's not something they could go talk to their friends like, that stoichiometry problem we did today was really awesome, right? Like that's just not something that happens. So I want to thank you. I know I'm going a little bit over probably, but as you mentioned, I have a great supporting cast at Camden County Technical Schools. My supervisor, this is only I'm not even through my second full year of teaching, so that they let me do this after my first year, it's really incredible. I just said, here's my idea, I want to do it. And they said, okay, that's cool. My math coach has been incredibly helpful. She's been in one of my classes every day giving me feedback on this, and then all the other teachers. I can't say enough about my students. I never take the work they do for granted because I know all the things they have at home and the environment, and so it's really inspiring to see any time they do any work. I really appreciate that, and this is kind of all for them, so it's great. If you're a video gamer, you know there's a huge influence from Mass Effect, which is one of my favorite games, and I have a soft spot for video games. That's the generation I grew up with. And I think a lot of the engagement things in video games are super powerful, and we can take them for the classroom in terms of your decisions mattering. Every decision you make matters in this game, and so I want some support for that as well. So I just want to thank you again. I know you're supposed to fill out this session evaluation. You can do it anytime, but if you want to check out more resources, feel free to email me.